second take of the Hundred Saleh podcast when we're diving into the Carl Jung story. And as you guys can see, we're at a very special place in the world. I felt like it was very fitting for this part or this chapter or this excerpt because it's diving into God, Jesus, and a very large thought process that I'm excited to share with you guys. So here we go. Carl Jung actually stated, which is that I understood that the God whom we seek in the absolute was not to be found in absolute beauty, goodness, serious elevation, humanity, or even in godliness. Once the God was there, I understood that the new God who would be in the relative, if God is absolute beauty and goodness, how should he encompass the fullness of life, which is beautiful and hateful, good and evil, laughable and serious? Human can man live in the womb of the God if the Godhead himself attends only to one half of them? I want to go ahead and dive into that with you guys. What it's saying is that very often we're all told that God, right? This guy right behind me, is everything good? There's only God, love, positivity, and there's nothing else beyond that. If it's anything that's dark or demonized, then we feel it's affecting. So when you look at it that way, it makes God or even Jesus only half of a man, because it's like this. If I'm a man who I only hang out on the beach, right? I'm only a beach guy. I'm only on the water. And you start having trouble in your life dealing with mountains. How could I ever help you? Because I don't understand that side. So for us to have a full perspective of the greatness of Jesus, the greatness of God, the greatness of all of these mythologies and these stories, it has to be able to go into the dark in order to then understand the dark so that it can help you when you fall into the darkness. If it's only based off of light, then darkness is totally alien to him. And to believe that Jesus or that man behind me is only positive means that it has no ability to help you when crisis happens. So that doesn't make sense for Christ. Let's take that one step further, right? It says, it was folly and monkey business, as atrocious hell masqueraded as holiness mystery. How else could Christ have saved his antichrist? Read the unknown book of the ancients and you will learn much from them. Notice that Christ did not remain in hell, but rose to the height of beyond. Long story short, it's saying that Jesus actually died, and in those 3 days when he had died and ultimately resurrected, he had to go down to hell to negotiate with the demons. The reason why this is important is because very often we don't want to tap into our dark side because we find our dark side to be almost alien to us, or it's the dark side of us, which we don't give any credence for. But that dark side is where you then begin to understand who you are. And a lot of your power and strength is in those shadows. Jesus had to go into the dark, into the hell, in order for him to understand his darkness. That made him an entire being. That made him an entire completion ultimately. And that allows for him to resurrect into something so much more beautiful, something that was finally enlightened. What I ended up writing is that Christ preaches to the demons so that he can finally get to his higher self, negotiating with his own darknesses. That way he can integrate into the Antichrist officially. You must understand Christ and the Antichrist in order for you to become finally Christ consciousness. Otherwise, you're just a fragmentation of self, and that is not what we're ultimately going for. I love this excerpt. And I think it was just so fitting for this moment in this place because, as you see, people have traveled all around the world to see the light, but they don't know the dark. And so they only know half of the story. And that's the reason that they only give you half of the story, because if you don't understand the full picture, then you have to go to somebody else to gain insight into who you truly are. That makes it very profitable for churches, for religion, all these different institutions to manipulate you, not allowing for you to understand your full aspect of self. Beautiful story. Beautiful thought from Carl Jung. We're going to be diving into more of his words, more of his understandings. I hope I'm in even better locations than just this one, because that's the goal, guys. We want to show you beautiful things as we go into beautiful places and have a beautiful mind. Y'all, thanks for tapping into the 100 Saleh podcast. It's going to continue on and on and on, like Erykah Badu would say. All love, and I'll see you guys again.